What up, Closing Nation? Take a ride with me to work today. You know what I'm saying? I would drop the top on this thing, but you know, it'd be all windy and shit. You're not trying to have a windy Wednesday, you know. That would be annoying. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, what up, Mike Pepler? What up, Kimmy? What's up, everybody? Glad to see y'all here. I'm gonna drop some sales knowledge on you today. Last few motivational videos that I've done have been all about, or last few live videos that I've done have been all about motivation and staying determined and stuff like that. I thought I would drop a little sales sauce on you today, help you get a little bit closer to your commission goals this week on a Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you hit the like button, hit the thumbs up. If I say some shit you agree with, just type amen in the comments. You know what I'm saying? So that we get some engagement on here and everything else, because what I want to share with you today is the keys to closing more sales. Now, listen, some of this is going to seem really overly simple, and I have several talents that I have been blessed with in my lifetime, but one of my biggest talents is being able to take very, very complicated things and turn them into something that's simple, because keeping it simple sells, right? When somebody can actually understand what it is that you're talking about, when someone can actually understand what it is that you're selling, when someone can understand what the solution you're providing is, then guess what? It's easy for them to make a decision. So keeping it simple is how you keep it, you know, keep yourself rolling in the dough. You know what I'm saying? So don't knock the simplicity of what I'm going to say today. So one of the things I see sales professionals do every day, I see them do it online, offline, on the sales pitches that I hear, on the people that are trying to sell me, is they're selling a product, right? And they're selling, whether it's SEO, Facebook ads, or a mortgage or real estate, they're selling a product, right? For real estate, the product is a house. For mortgages, the product is the loan, right? The loan terms that they get. And coaching, the product is the actual coach. And here's what I hate it when that thing skips out like that. So here's what I noticed. That doesn't work. What works is selling a solution. Now, here's the difference between when you know you're selling a product and when you're selling a solution. When you're talking about yourself and your company, you're selling a product. When you're talking about your prospect, you're selling a solution. And so how would you be able to sell a solution versus a product? Well, here's the thing. When you enter a sales call, you should know everything there is about your product. What you don't know is the problem that the prospect is facing. What you don't know is the issues that the prospect is struggling with. So it's your job when you get on a sales call not to start, not to start pitching your product, and not to start talking about how awesome you are as an individual or a service provider or any of that shit. It's to start being interested in your prospect. Dale Carnegie said it best. If you want people to be interested in you, you have to be interesting to them. And the way that we're interesting to people is when we talk about them, not us. Nobody gives a shit about us. We're lowly salespeople, right? We're salespeople who didn't grow up with a silver spoon in our ass. We're salespeople who have, you know, made thousands of calls, thousands of contacts, thousands of prospects that we've talked to, and they don't think that they're any different than anybody else until you make them feel different. And what I mean by making them feel different is when you show them that you actually care about them. And the way that we show people that we actually care about them is by being interested in them, right? Because think about it, we live in this world where on social media, people make posts every day that don't get engagement. People's spouse don't listen to them. People's kids don't listen to them. Their employees don't listen to them. Their boss don't listen to them. Nobody listens to anybody. And if you don't believe me, you think, well, I listen, right? And I'm going to tell you this, when's the last time you met somebody and they shook your hand and they told you their name, and 2 seconds later you forgot their name? I guarantee it happens to people that are watching this all the time. You know why? Because you weren't interested in them, right? And there's this saying that people ask you what you do for a living so they can judge the amount of respect that they're going to give to you. And so when we meet somebody and we find out what they do, then we say, oh, what was your name again? Because all of a sudden we're interested in them. But if you show interest in your prospects right from the beginning, they'll start being interested in whatever it is that you're selling. When you make them comfortable, when you make them feel like you're paying attention, and the only way you can do that, you can't fake that shit. The only way you can do it is to actually be interested in them, to actually pay attention to them. But when you make them feel like you care, they want to care about you as well. It really is that simple. But oftentimes people get on and they start talking about the benefits of their product or how their program's amazing or how long they've been doing shit. That's like the biggest annoyance in sales is somebody says, well, I've been doing this for 30 years. Nobody gives a fuck. Really, you've been doing it for 1 year and you have 30 years repeated experience, or you'd be a multi-millionaire by now. Instead, you are on the phone with this person trying to solve stuff. They don't give a shit about how long you've been in business. They wouldn't give a shit. They don't care how long you've been in business. All they care about is that you might be the person that listened to them and can provide the solution that they're looking for. That's all that really matters to the prospect. And so you might ask, so how do you do that, Ryan? How do you show interest in people? Well, the number one thing is to ask them questions. When I get on a sales conversation with somebody, the first thing I start doing is I start doing what we call FORD, right? Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. So where are you from? Awesome. You married? Awesome. Do you have kids? Oh, me too. That's amazing. And I start trying to build this rapport like I'm just like you. And I'm having a conversation with them that's very intentional. Oftentimes when I say, where are you from? And they say, oh, I'm from Dallas, Texas. Be like, oh man, we've got a ton of people in Dallas that are crushing it with our programs, man. So we know it works in your marketplace. And what I'm doing is I'm asking them questions and then planting seeds to handle their objections that might come up later on in life. And so the whole time that I'm talking to somebody, I'm asking them questions because I'm showing them that I cared. I'm truly showing interest in them because my whole goal on this planet is not to make money. I lived that lifestyle for a long time. I had it, lost it, had it, lost it, had it again. My goal on this planet is to help people win. And oftentimes people that buy things from me, whether it's a piece of real estate, software, or a coaching program or a digital program, whatever the case it is, they're not buying it for Ryan Stewman. They're buying it for themselves because it might be something that liberates them from where they're at. In other words, it might be something, that piece of real estate might make them enough money to pay off their student debts or their credit cards, right? That software might generate enough leads for them to make $1 million a year. And a lot of people stop there. They go, okay, so you make $1 million a year. That's cool. But we have to figure out what the prospect would do with that millions of dollars, right? That $1 million. We have to ask what the prospect plans to do. It's like, okay, so if you did make $1 million this year, how would you spend it? And then we start to really see the psychological triggers that the client has. Awesome, so you would pay off your car note and your credit card debt. What does that do for you, right? I mean, everybody has credit card debt, everybody has a car note, but paying it off, what does that mean for you? Well, if I paid it off, then I'd have the extra cash flow coming in every month to do this. Okay, perfect. Well, what does that mean? Once you do that and you make money from it as well, what are your plans? And we keep digging deeper, right? And the reason why we keep digging deeper because we're trying to uncover what their real problem is. You see, nobody rolls over in the middle of the night and looks at their spouse and says, we need coaching, right? Nobody rolls over in the middle of the night and looks at their spouse and says, we need a 4.5% interest rate over the course of 30 years, right? That's just not how it works. Instead, they roll over and they say, if we don't do XYZ, then XYZ is going to end up hurting us. It's going to end up financially crippling us. We're not going to be able to take care of our kids, ourselves, or whatever the case may be. And so I'm trying to figure out what that underlying issue that they have is. The only way by being interested, actively listening, and searching for their true problem so I can find out if I can even solve it. And oftentimes I can't solve people's problems, so I'll point them out to somebody who can. You know, I have this abundant mindset, and so I'm always like, hey, you know what? I might not be your guy, but let me introduce you to this person. I may not be able to help you. That's not where we specialize. And I had a guy yesterday who flat out just didn't want to learn how to do the shit, and he wanted somebody to do it for him. And so I told him, hey, well, you should hire this person. This person will do it all for you. But when you relinquish control of your situation and you leave it in somebody else's hand, you're never really in control of your entire company. You at least need to learn what it is that that person's supposed to be doing for you. But that's just me. I have an abundant mindset because I want the people that I'm on the phone with to win. I want the people that I'm having face-to-face conversations with to win. And I feel like people get that sense from me. They're like, Stewman really cares. He really... I ain't gonna lie. I bought this Verizon phone because AT&T sucks. And I am here to announce Verizon is even worse. This phone don't hold the signal for like 3 or 4 minutes and it drops it constantly. And I've been shocked, right? Like, how can these companies have billions of dollars and their products don't work, but yet we still continue to buy them? Like, they sold me. They're like, the #1 network in America. Not in Dallas, motherfucker. I don't know. Anyway, so sorry the phone keeps cutting out. But back to the story here. I want these people to win. And with my abundant mindset, it's my job to make sure that they win. Maybe sometimes I don't win the sale, but you know what? It all comes back to me in referrals. It comes back to me because, you know, they may come back and say, well, you're right, Ryan. I do need to learn this shit. The other guy quit on me and I can't keep playing this game. But the only way that I know what they need so that I can point out is by actively listening and actually caring about their situation. So if you want to make more sales, the key is not to sell your products, right? The key is to find their problem. And so let me tell you the difference one more time before we get done here. If you're talking about yourself, your company, or your products, then you are not paying attention to them. You need to be asking questions and get them talking about their self, their needs, and their issues so you can help end the struggle for them and you can help them ultimately win. If you appreciate this, if you got something for it, don't knock the simplicity, but share it with somebody who needs to watch this. Tag them in the comments. Say, hey man, get off of selling product and start selling the solution. The game will change. You'll make more money. You'll ultimately win. Your clients will win. Your customers will win. And when they win, we all win. Later.